My name is Ukinebo Dare. I am an under 40 CEO.
The African Renaissance. The concept that the African people and nation shall overcome the current challenges confronting the continent and achieve cultural, scientific, and economic renewal is here, with young men and women taking the lead. Some call them the new school heroes. We call them under 40 CEOs.
Ukinebo Dare graduated from the Benson Idahosa University with a bachelor's degree in computer science, after which he attended the University of Bradford and bagged a master's degree in management. She is also a certified strategic and conceptual sales executive from Miller Heiman in Europe. Uki is a trainer, writer, business strategist, brand manager, and business advisory expert whose passion, in her words, is to introduce people to the best version of themselves, even as she strives to continually improve herself. Having trained over 10,000 executives and young graduates as CEO of Poise Graduate Finishing Academy, she is only just getting started. All right, welcome to Under 40 CEOs,
Thank you very
Uki.
much.
Now, Uki, in 2005, you bagged your bachelor's degree in computer science.
Yes.
That's from the Benson Idahosa University.
Yes.
And then by 2009, you had bagged a master's degree. That's from the University of Bradford. Now, from the sciences to management, why did you opt for sciences in the first place, and why make the switch?
First of all, why I opted for sciences was because my role model, my mentor, everything is my dad.
Oh, wow.
And my dad is an engineer.
Oh, beautiful.
So I actually wanted to study engineering. Everything, I had always been in science class, and it's actually part of who I am. So going into sciences was natural for me. And then, but early in life, I had discovered what I really wanted to do, which was teach people.
Oh.
Yeah. So even though I was working in IT, I wanted to go out of the sciences a bit. And after working in IT for 3 years and enjoying it, I just felt like I could do my master's in an IT-related course, which is what everybody expected.
Okay.
Or I can just use that opportunity to go branch out totally and do management, and that's how the switch.
Oh, yeah, so you worked for Oando.
Yeah.
That's an indigenous oil and gas company between 2007 and 2008.
Yes.
But by 2010, you were already head at Poise Graduate Finishing School.
Exactly.
Tell me, how did that happen?
Okay, so when I went for my MSc in management and I got back to Nigeria, I was considering either going back to Oando, but in my discussions with them, I already indicated that I really was looking for something outside IT. So while we were discussing that and trying to find something that was more in line with my new direction, the opportunity to start the Poise Graduate Finishing School also came up. So that was in 2009. And I mean, it seemed to be, and it has been, everything that it was just right in line with what I want to do. So it's about grooming people, teaching people, and most importantly, or would I say importantly, or the thing that attracted me the most was that it was new. I was actually going to create it, do the research, design it, and I mean, it was irresistible.
So your Twitter bio starts with these words: all I want to do is obey God.
Yeah.
All I want to do with my life is obey God. Coming to Poise, was it one of those decisions that involved obeying God?
Okay, I think so, to me.
Okay.
Because when I was in the university, I attended a seminar by Miles Monroe where he talked about purpose and how we are all designed for something. And his formula for finding out what we are all designed for is pray about it and then figure out that thing that you really hate the most, and most likely is or something you love the most or hate the most, and that shows you what you should be doing. I had gotten to that point where I followed the steps, as he prescribed, and discovered that all the thing that will give me fulfillment is everything that has to do with helping people see the truth in terms of how things should be done. How can I make my life better? How can I change my situation? Okay, I'm not a victim. So there must be something I can do to have a better life. So running the Poise Graduate Finishing Academy was, like I said, right there in line with. In training these graduates, we help them go from feeling helpless to feeling powerful, like, oh, I actually have a say, I can do something to make my life better. So yes, I believe that my job is helping me obey God.
Now, you've been at Poise since 2010, and you've obviously grown through the ranks to become the CEO today. Tell me a bit about the journey.
When PGF, Postgraduate Finishing Academy, started, it was a new thing, and it was supposed to run as a department within Poise.
Okay.
So that's why I started as the head of the Graduate Finishing Academy. But as the years went by, the growth of the academy meant that it could actually stand on its own as a separate entity within the group. And so that's how the transition went from being the head of a department to actually pushing that department into becoming its own entity, and I became the CEO. Even though it's the same job, it has changed in so many ways, because when you have somebody to blame, you're the head of a department, you have a boss, right? So you have somebody to blame, to say, oh, if only you had told me, why didn't you ask me to do it, you know? There's responsibility on you, but then there's still that escape route. But when you're the CEO, pass or fail is on you. And that makes every decision you make much more important. I mean, you just have to get it right as much as is humanly possible.
So you've been described as a trainer, brand strategist, writer, brand manager, and business advisor. It also says on your profile that your passion is to introduce people to the best version of themselves. Would you say that this is the best version of Uki today?
Oh, no way. I'm very passionate about that. You know, many people, I just see so many people going through life trying to be somebody else. But even apart from trying to be somebody else, some people are just okay with who they are, but they feel trapped with who they currently are. But very early in life, I mean, my dad taught me something. He says that your nurture and not your nature is what determines your destiny. So it's not about your natural traits. Like, I don't know why I just don't like public speaking, but I love talking. I'm all about push yourself. There's more within you. You can't get to the end. I say this is not the best version of Uki because if tomorrow I find something else that I don't know how to do, I will push myself to learn it if I need to. So by introducing people to the best version of themselves, the first thing I really try to do is help them believe in themselves and see that there's so much more. I always tell people that you are the greatest human resource. You're your greatest resource. Before you tap into the mineral resources, you have so much more inside of you. So, yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Let's come back to Poise. Okay. What's your unique selling proposition? What has kept you relevant over the years?
Poise Graduate Finishing Academy, one key thing for us is we teach employability skills in a way that's totally in-depth. You know, so there's so many employability skills programs out there, and you could do an employability program in 2 weeks, something in 1 week, a month. Our program is 3 long months of coming to class 4 days a week.
Wow.
And that's because we don't just want to teach you, we want you to become it. So when you learn about problem solving, when you learn about project management in the office or running events at work, you're not just going to learn it in class, you're going to have an event, you're going to invite people, you're going to execute that event, you're going to run a charity event. You know, so for us, we're very much into, at the end of the day, you don't just have the head knowledge, but you are this person. All these skills are now a part of you. And in addition to that, because of course we are part of Poise, so we also teach our students, in addition to the soft skills, we teach them etiquette. So we teach them business etiquette, dining etiquette, and all. So they just have that special edge as well, in addition to all the other things they've learned.
You said in an interview recently, and I would like to quote you. You said, "My enterprise is designed to reduce unemployment." Now, has your enterprise been able to do that? And secondly, if yes, do you have figures to back that claim?
Well, I'm quite sure that the enterprise, yes, we have reduced unemployment, though there's so many unemployed people out there that we just want to keep doing more. But since Poise Graduate Finishing Academy started, we have trained over 14,000 graduates.
Wow.
That's the 14,000 graduates have been to various levels of the training. Sometimes we do free seminars, sometimes we do, but for those who have gone through the P-Sense training all the way, the 3-month training, we have an 87% employment rate. Now these guys are working in different industries. Some of them now, because of course we've been at this for 6 years now, some of them now are managers. In fact, last week I went for a meeting, and then when I got into the organization, I met the HR manager who finished from the training, and his assistant, I recognized, like, you've been to POISE? Yes, she had been to POISE. And then as we were walking out the corridor, somebody else ran to say hello, and they asked me, did she also attend POISE? I said, yes, she's been to the training. So these people are finishing, and they're getting employed, and for us, we just believe that it's because employers know what they're looking for. And when they see it, in fact, we say that a lot here, employers know what they're looking for, and when they see it, if they recognize it, they will acquire it. An employer can see the person that has everything, all the skills they need at that moment. But if they cannot recognize it because the person doesn't know how to showcase himself, they might pass him on or pass her on. So in fighting unemployment, we drive our students to be the best. Those who are interested in, we have some who finished and became entrepreneurs. They have also employed people. My goal is that the average Nigerian graduate is a star. No matter when a job comes up. I mean, if I'm an SME and I want to employ somebody and I just employ the next guy that comes through the door, he's going to make my business grow. And as it grows, I will employ.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
Ukidare's POISE Graduate Finishing Academy is solving real problems, and these problems have been highlighted by a number of under 40 CEOs as being a key challenge, equipping young graduates with skills that make them employable. This has earned her a Ford Foundation Prize for Youth Employment.
So would you say that graduates are your primary target market?
Oh, yes. Usually we work with people with 0 to 2 years work experience. Okay. So some people who, 400 level students, those who have finished 400 level, but they haven't gone to serve. And then we even have up to some people who have served or maybe worked for 1 year or 2 years, but they feel like, this job, I'm not really doing my best. I want to, tap into my best self. So yeah, so 0 to 2 years work experience, that's the typical set of people that we work with. And then sometimes organizations as well invite us to train the entry-level employees to get them to that point, yeah.
Okay, please tell me about this amazing course package that you've put together, P-Sense Employability Skills course.
Okay, the P-Sense Employability Skills course first started as a 6-month-long course because when we actually did some engagement sessions with employers and students to find that we were looking for the size of the gap between what employers want and what the graduates are leaving school with. But 6 months was not very, it was too long. So we actually made the program more intensive and put it into 3 months. Okay. And the P-Sense training has 3 stages. The P-Sense Basic, which we believe those are the core skills. If you want to work, please, you should know these things. So you will have ICT skills. So a lot of graduates will say good ICT skills, but really, really, the best ICT skills they have are posting on Facebook. So, so we try to...
Possibly Twitter and Instagram.
Exactly. Yeah, but then, I mean, with the way the educational system is, so many people even pay people to write their projects. So many of them can't use Microsoft Word. So from the basic ICT, P-Sense Basic, we teach them basic ICT skills, work ethics, professionalism, how should you act in the office, telephone etiquette, just at least this guy knows what to do, interview skills, CV writing. And then we go a little bit deeper in the next stage, which is the P-Sense Professional. Okay. And the P-Sense Professional is where they start having projects. And they start running, we run it like you're at work. So you have things to do during this time. They run a charity project. They do something called Sell a Product, where they come together and they put together a business, and they actually have to run that business and make profit. So while they're writing letters, they're writing proposals, memos, so we're checking all those things. They learn things like business writing, creative thinking, innovation, and all that. And then the P-Sense executive stage is where we now do. So at the end of your P-Sense Professional too, in fact, they start doing interviews from while they're in P-Sense Professional. So that if they get a job at that stage, they can just finish the professional stage and go on. But some people do the 3 levels, which is the executive stage is where we now really do the finishing. Okay. So your personality projection and all of that. But all through they're learning presentation skills And I mean, there's so much that they learn. We do over 32 different soft skills.
Oh, wow.
Through projects, classroom sessions, and then real life activities. So they go on, like when they go on their internships and they're given tasks to perform, and then they are assessed by the organization and by us. And I mean, but one key thing with P-Sense is that we designed it in such a way that they don't just feel like they're sitting down there in class absorbing information. We get them to act. And we cover soft skills in such a way that when you get to work, you know, I remember I got a message from one of the ones that finished last week, and he says, but he didn't stay till the end. He got a job before the end, and he said, I wasn't the best in class, but I'm like a lion in my team. I'm like the best thing they've ever seen. So we put them through a lot of pressure, high pressure, so that when they go out to the office and maybe their colleagues are already like, I can't take this anymore. I'm just getting started. Hi, guys, what's going on here? Let's do this. So the training is really designed to expand your capacity.
Okay. Poise Group as a whole is known for, you know, helping brands and individuals project, you know, the best possible image that they could. So what key advice would you give like a budding business or individual, an entrepreneur, CEO, on putting the best foot forward all the time?
Key advice is know who you are. Even as a CEO, know who you are. As a business, know who you are. If not, you will be all over the place. You need to know why you're there, because one thing we always teach at POIS, generally when we teach etiquette, is it's not really about forming. It's not really about becoming who you are not, because everybody just becomes like a copy of themselves. So it's about interpreting your personality in the best way. I remembered, I said the major reason for this Finishing Academy is not just to train a lot of people, it's to actually change what employability means in Nigeria. So we had to do a lot of work and design the P-Sense exams, the certification program, I mean, to get it endorsed by NUC and all of that. When we were working on it, we believed that if you have something that's comprehensive and you take it to NUC and they see it's good, they would push it to the universities. But they endorsed it, and then they gave us letters to all the vice chancellors for us to push it to the universities.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The reason why this school, or PGFA, exists is to, like I said, re-engineer the nation's workforce for the average graduate to be employable. So it drives everything we do. It helps us not to just rest on our oars. It helps us to keep going out every day, finding different ways to achieve that aim.
You're the editor-in-chief of the Young Executive Diary. Please tell me about this publication.
The Young Executive Diary is a magazine that covers everything about career, starting up a good career, but from a very fun perspective. Okay. So, for example, we have the story of a guy called Eric. It's also on our blog. That way, people who are reading, especially if they're still in school, get to see that, oh, I shouldn't expect things to be like this after school. I should know this. So that's another way of educating young people.
Now, how has travel and interacting with diverse cultures, you know, helped to shape your person?
Travel for work, to work with other people and all of that, and I come back, I try to change something in the P-Sense curriculum because it makes me see, you know, the world is so small, and many of the challenges that we are facing here in Nigeria have been faced in other countries, and they have dealt with it in particular ways. So basically, interacting with other cultures helps to enrich myself, enrich the program, and helps me to always remember that we're not preparing graduates to just work in Nigeria, but to work anywhere in the world.
While on the CEO journey, what are those key challenges that you've had to overcome to make the strides that you've made so far?
One of them, I would say, is when doing something that's not very common, being able to have that extra resilience to help people buy into your idea and understand it. But by the time PGFA started, it was still, there were a few out there, but it was still not common. And then you go to an employer and say, oh, I'm running an employability training. I would love for you to, you know, try out these graduates. And they're looking at you like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. They all don't know anything. Just I had to learn that resilience of, okay, they said no, go back, put your message in another way, and find a way to sell it to them. And another thing would be patience, because yes, being in charge of people would make you learn patience. Because people have, people that are working with you can be passionate about what you're doing, but still they don't know how to. They're not in your head. You have to communicate well. You have to encourage them. So at the beginning, I just had this feeling that we are doing something that's amazing. It changed people's lives. I don't have to convince you now. Let's do this.
You still have to sell it.
Yes, you still have to sell it. And finally, and very importantly, when you first do something the first time and it works, there's that high you get of whoa. So when the first person gets the job, I remember when we had the first stream, the second stream, and then they got jobs. It was like there was nothing better in the world. But over time, it starts to become a little bit of routine. Like, oh yeah, they're supposed to get jobs, they're trained, But then I had to learn how to revive your passion, revive your interest. Otherwise, if you're like me, who is always creative and likes to do new things, you could actually get bored doing something that is so important. So I had to come up with different ways to keep reviving my interest by seeing how important it is that we stay the course and give the best every time.
Okay, so how would you describe your leadership style?
I'm a very relaxed boss. But I can change in an instant. So I noticed that sometimes it throws people off, because here you're laughing with me and smiling with me, and then the next thing you're like, how could you do this to me? So I'm trying to find something right there in the middle, because I drive myself very hard. I drive those that work with me very hard. You will find us working overnight a lot of times. So in order to keep people encouraged, I want you to know that this is important. I want you to know that this has a huge impact, and then I want you to give it your all.
Okay, have you ever failed as a leader, and if so, what are those feelings?
Oh yes. Failing as a leader, first of all, would be in my time of leadership, I was very hard. You don't get it right, it doesn't make sense to me, why won't you get it right? I would just come down on you like, this doesn't make sense. But my personality type, like I said earlier, I love to do new things. So I've had a situation where I started something that was going very well, and then just got bored and decided to start something else without actually putting all the structures in place to make sure that the first one keeps doing well while I start the second one. So I think those two things I have learned from, and I'm very different now.
So what's the current business structure of your firm?
Okay, Poise as a group, and then we have the Poise School of Communication, we have Poise Finishing Academy, and then we have Poise Graduate Finishing Academy. But in PGFA, we set up an NGO. Okay, we have Poise Graduate Finishing Academy, and in PGFA we set up an NGO because we give out a lot of scholarships. The NGO aspect is the new thing that just came into, and it's been going pretty well.
So what values are important to you and your firm?
First things first, I know it's popular, sounds cliche, but integrity. Every training you go through at Poise, the first thing you learn is self-awareness. And the key to that is integrity.
Okay.
And the second thing is innovation. So we don't really believe in just doing things because that's how it's always been done. We want to do things that are still necessary, needed, and will make the most impact. And then the last one is impact.
Okay.
Actually, my favorite word in the whole world is impact, because I don't believe in doing anything that doesn't have an impact on someone else.
So what would you say is the biggest letdown you've had in your career so far?
Biggest letdown, when PGFA started and we did the first few streams, they're talking about unemployment and everybody says they want to solve the problem. So people are getting jobs, let's do this. So we reached out to a lot of employers. My hopes were right there in the sky. And one after the other, they all said no. I just thought, and then you know how it feels when somebody just told you, oh no, I don't want to sponsor this employability program. And then you go home, you turn on your TV, and you see that they're sponsoring one concert, And I'm saying, all these people attending these concerts, they need jobs. You know, for a long time, I just didn't get it. Why? You know, I had this naive belief that people that were doing all these, were sponsoring programs, were more concerned about the impact than the noise. But then I realized that you really have to be able to also give them back that noise, that publicity, that, oh, this is happening and these guys are supporting us. But then over time, I realized that there are some people out there who really do want to support such projects. And yes, in recent times, we've had such support.
Okay.
So, but at that beginning time, honestly, it was like a sucker punch. I didn't get it.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
Uki wakes up every day passionate about making a difference in the lives of would-be employees and employers, one graduate at a time. But how does she spend her time away from work, and what are her lifestyle choices? I seek to find out.
All right, I have a few quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
What do you love to eat?
Beans?
How would you describe your style?
Free.
What's your favorite brand to wear?
I wish I could wear Gucci every day.
What's your favorite car to drive?
I don't have a favorite car.
What CEOs do you currently look up to?
The group CEO of Poise Nigeria, Mrs. Mavi Sibo. The CEO of Chevron Close PFA, Mrs. Obafunke Alade Adeyepa. Those are my top two.
All right, your favorite travel destination?
Dubai.
Your favorite book of all time?
Start small, finish big.
And what book are you reading right now?
Who Switched Off My Brain?
Oh wow, by
Dr. Caroline Leaf.
Now lastly, I would like to know, Uki, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy is, back to my Twitter profile, all I want to do in my life is obey God. And that's what makes me happy.
Thank you for coming on Under 40 CEOs, Uki.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. My name is Ukinebo Dare. I'm an Under 40 CEO, and you can be one too.
This is Under 40 CEOs.